The almighty Prince Vegeta!
What's good, people? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video, and in this one I'm going to be showing you guys the best team to use and how to defeat the latter stages of the MAJIN VEGETA Gauntlet without the boosted characters. So I was scrolling down Twitter this morning when I first woke up, looking at the reactions to the MAJIN VEGETA Zenkai. My boy finally getting it. I'm really happy about it. Haven't used him yet because I haven't got him at Zenkai 7, but I will get around to it eventually. And I was seeing some people kind of complaining about the selection of boosted characters that they went with, and I can't really blame them because the boosted characters are just like what the hell. Like, there's TN, the brand new TN, who most people have skipped because the banner is not worth your CC at all. You then have Kid Buu, who I personally have at 2 stars. With how often I summon, I only have him at 2 stars. I can't pull the guy for shit. So I'll presume a lot of you have the same issue. And then the final unit is, off the top of my memory, I think Buu, who, even though most of you probably will have him at higher stars, he just doesn't do any damage. He is just an absolutely useless unit. So there's no point using those guys. If you have TN or Kid Buu at higher stars, then, you know, use those, of course. They are the boosted characters, so be sure to use them. But if you don't, this is the team you should be using. So I presume that most of you at this point do have Bardock at Zenkai 7, because he is pretty much a staple in this game for a team that, it's not good all the time. There are stages where, or spells where this team just doesn't have good enough units to compete, but there are also spells where, like when Super Gogeta released, for example, where Super Saiyans was one of the best teams in the game. Currently, Blue Blue Yellow Super Saiyans is pretty good as well, with Bardock, Super Gogeta and Ultra Super Vegito. So I presume most of you do have Bardock at Zenkai 7. You can get him to Zenkai 7 from the USTR shop as well. So yeah, so on this team there are plenty of options you can go with. Now obviously I'm going to use Super Gogeta because he is the best blue unit in the game. He is a Super Saiyan, he does crazy damage, he stacks up blue cards, which is great for doing rush damage. So yeah, obviously I'll be using Super Gogeta. There is the transforming Super Gogeta just below him as well, who you can also get from the USTR shop. And I do prefer blast characters in PvE because when you use a blast card, the AI don't really tend to dodge it, but if you use a strike, they'll perfect vanish you, and it's so annoying. There's also Nameku. There's also Sword of Hope Trunks if you want to use him. There's plenty of Super Saiyan options, blue Super Saiyan options that you can use, but this is the team I'm going with. So Bardock. Oh, there's also LF Broly as well, forgot to mention him. So Bardock, Ultra Super Gogeta, and then the transforming Super Gogeta. Then I have Nameku and Broly to Zenkai buff them, and then Gotenks on the bench for the fusion units. Bardock also receiving that because he's in the leader slot. So yeah, I'm going to jump into the gameplay. I did actually record me beating level 100 for you guys, the hardest level. So yeah, I'll give you some tips in there as well of what to do when you're in there. But without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, so here we are. This is actually pre-recorded gameplay. But as you can see, going into level 100. Now starting off with the tips. So as always, with Super Saiyans, you do want to start off with Bardock, because when you switch into another Super Saiyan unit, they do get the critical buffs. Now with the transforming Super Gogeta, if you're using him, or Nameku, or any transforming Super Saiyan, you will need to transform with them before they can get the buffs. Because if you switch into them, they're still in their pre-transformed state, they won't get the buff. So if you want to start off with them, maybe start off with them, transform, then go into Bardock, then switch into whoever else you've got with you. But in regards of the gameplay, so what you want to do is you want to wait for them to initiate an attack, whether that's a blast, a strike, a tap attack even, and when you dodge, you always want to use a blast attack. Never ever use a strike. Look, as you can see here, I switched into Bardock just in case they do vanish. They don't usually tend to get a PV against blast attacks, it's usually only strikes. So if you do switch, use a blast, you will have time to vanish afterwards. But as you saw, the reaction time isn't there with the AI, so they did not vanish against the blast attack. Now, in regards to the actual combinations themselves, you'll notice that I'm not comboing as I would in PvP. So in PvP, you'd either move forward, charge step, then use a card, or you'd move forward, sidestep, and use a card then. But as you can see, if you've been watching me use my combos, when I'm sidestepping, I'm actually taking it a little bit longer, like half a second longer, and then I'm using my card, because that allows you to draw more cards, your combo's going for a lot longer, and it also allows you to regain your vanish as well. So yeah, if you're not really experienced in PvE, you're not really familiar with float stepping as people call it, that is how you do that. Now, as you can see, I am only really using Super Gogeta because it gets it done quicker. He's by far the easiest character to use because it's literally just sidestep, use a strike, sidestep, use a strike, sidestep, use a strike, get a blue card, keep going, keep going, keep going. And then as you saw when I did rush, I did have 3 blue cards, which is crazy for the damage you're going to inflict on the Rising Rush. And to be honest with you, you're just going to rinse and repeat this same thing every single time, as you can see me doing, until you do eventually kill him. Now, even though the AI is usually predictable, you can usually tell when they're going to vanish, you can tell when they're going to attack. Sometimes they'll just stand there and literally wait for your input and then they'll perfect vanish you. Like, that happens sometimes. So if that does happen, and it most likely will at least once or twice throughout the fight, and especially if you're facing against this post-transform Majin Vegeta, because you only face this one once every 5 fights, like level 90 you'll face the transform Majin Vegeta, then 92, 93, 94 you'll face his base form. But regardless, whichever one you're facing, just be sure if he gets your best character in a combo, just switch out straight away. Just switch out. Don't go into Bardock, because Bardock is going to provide Super Gogeta or your transforming Super Gogeta or your Nameku, whichever your best unit is, the crit buffs. So just switch into your weakest unit, let them eat the damage. If worst comes to worst and you have to switch into Bardock instead of your Super Gogeta, for example, then just switch into Bardock, let him eat the damage, because you don't want your best unit getting taken out. Also, while we're speaking about, defensive precautions, don't hesitate to cover change. Now, luckily, as this Vegeta is a strike-based unit, a melee unit, there are a lot of Super Saiyan units with a strike cover change. There's Sword of Hope Trunks, Super Gogeta, LF Broly. All of these units do have strike cover changes, so be sure to utilize them just to break his combos up if he does manage to catch you. But yeah, that is about it really. That's all you need to know. Just rinse and repeat these tips or methods and you will eventually beat him. But as you can see, level 100 cleared, pretty much little to no effort. I hope this video has been a big help to you guys. Also, let me know down below what you do think of Majin Vegeta. And yeah, thank you guys for watching as always. Like, subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you in the next one.